Good evening, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okun, and I'm so pleased to be back to doing a video with my people. And thank you for your attendance, and thank you to everyone who have been supporting this channel, who have been subscribing, and the people who have shared, and those who have also watched the videos, and also actually made comments and now using notification bell. And thank you so much. And also for the new subscribers, if you are new, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment below. We are talking about financial assistance in the United Kingdom. If we talk of finance from the government to help people who need help, who are actually living in poverty in the United Kingdom. And this is money given by the government within the welfare state system and programs, and specifically the welfare benefit. Welfare benefit is mostly money, financial help, direct financial support, or financially related things which are actually valuable in terms of money, in terms of income. Like if you get perhaps a voucher, food voucher or fuel voucher, or you get some other support like household, goods support from the local authorities. And visit, if you're living in the United Kingdom or wherever you're living in the world, go to gov.uk, which is actually the primary government website to talk about what is available. And if you need benefit for yourself or somebody else, then visit gov.uk or visit our website, public website of Citizen Advice. Citizen Advice, the reason I mention Citizen Advice often, because it's the biggest advice service dealing with social policy issues. Which social policy issue involves social welfare, including benefit, employment, benefit and employment as the fundamental source of income. And this program and this topic in particular also relate to the cost of living crisis as an objective currently within my program, my YouTube program. I've been talking about it for 1 year at the beginning of this YouTube channel being activated by the program, by the activity, by the project itself. And when I began last year, not the year before, 2022 in December, to start operating the channel. This channel was set up in 2012 and remained dormant. Goes to show for other YouTubers out there that unless, or anybody else who wants to do something, unless you do something, nothing happens. If you want to succeed, you have to do some work. If you want to succeed a lot, work a lot. And for fellow YouTubers out there, the best thing is actually to post videos. You never know who may or may not like a video. And more than 100 people, 100 million people actually use YouTube every month. Nearly 2.2 billion actually every year. That is a lot of people. You probably would do very well if 1 million people can watch your video every day, or every week, or every month. Is really a good thing. And I wish you all the love. And we'll be looking at something called universal credit. Watch this video and link this video with the rest of the video I produced in terms of the financial support in the United Kingdom, or similar video talking about benefits generally, but also the cost of living crisis. If you like the video in this place, then subscribe to the channel and click like, of course. Leave a comment. I prefer a positive comment, but also objective comments is extremely important. Even if it is not, it's not nice, it's not favorable, even if it's not really saying, oh, what I'm doing is really good, but it's also going to be good. If you're objective, if you identify a problem with this channel and identify it, and it's so costly to produce video, and I'm privileged to be involved with a limited budget, and for those who are actually who are working with fellow YouTubers, that's the best thing to do. And if you work alone the way I do, then that's also good. It's fantastic because you learn more by being creative. You know, sometimes people keep telling you how to operate your YouTube. You stop thinking, you stop being creative. We are content creators, so we are best to explore how best we can do things. It may be challenging. It's nothing. I mean, imagine 1 million people who are watching my video every day. It would put a lot of pressure on me to really, you know, pay attention to things I do. But so everything is a process, and this is a process. And talk about universal credit. Universal credit is money given by the government. It's the core of benefit system in the United Kingdom in terms of finance, in terms of money. When I talk of finance, it specifically means income. Nothing beyond that. I'm talking about specifically. I'm talking today. Universal credit benefit, which is actually is a form of income. There is financial component to every money or every wealth, but that is for individuals who consider if you need financial advice, go to financial advisors. And I'm also not giving advice because I'm actually talking to you about the situations. I'm just participating in talk about these things so that it provides knowledge, information, and also to give you actually a view about government policy and also the politics and the and the societal environment in which we work. And if you have been watching the rest of my video, you will discover that I also said the public sector is closing down. Sure, is universal credit, which is a form of benefit, which is actually a form of welfare money, welfare state, welfare service, including, like I said, benefit, employment, healthcare, housing, education, and also family. Family is an institution. It's a very important institution in the UK and also across the globe. In terms of law and policy is structured in a certain way within law and family laws and family policy. So things like domestic abuse, domestic violence, poverty generally, but also education is closely associated with family, especially children, including things like child benefit and child elements within the universal credit, and also other aspects of helping children, school uniforms, which is actually provided mainly school uniforms, and I think help with school meals are provided by local authorities if they are provided. Because with localism, something called localism, it means devolving of power from central government to local government. Local council in the United Kingdom actually provide a lot of support, including alcohol support and things like that. We also now the cost of living crisis, which is actually creating a lot of burden on money, on healthcare, on waiting lists, in housing. But the main problem, like I have actually proposed, is actually the government is changing policy and its approaches, and benefit is actually at the core of government help to people who need help. I have suggested severally in my video, and I really don't hesitate to repeat this point, that government need to get the British people out of poverty 100%. And poverty, I define it in terms of when you have to rely on credit to pay for the basic, like housing. You buy your home on credit using a mortgage, then you know you're in poverty. If you think you're not in poverty, leave a comment below or talk to somebody else, or just ask yourself again that if you lose your job, which many people are now losing their jobs, especially decision jobs within the technical areas, like the job to provide the middle class status, economy or income earners. These are now shutting down because technology is taking over. Accountants are losing their jobs, lawyers are losing their jobs, teachers are losing their jobs because people are now self-teaching. Advisors are losing their jobs because people can now access the internet and actually they can advise themselves increasingly with artificial intelligence, with the development, which is a good thing in terms of productivity, in terms of welfare, in terms of service accessing. Yeah, if you go to supermarket in the United Kingdom now, you'll find that at the checkout, you are the cashier. The customer is the cashier because of the machine, which is empowering. You are independent. There are supervisors, but even security, there is CCTV in the shops, on the streets. The police are losing their jobs. The military is losing their jobs. The Navy, the Army, the Air Forces are losing their jobs because of technology, which is a good thing for society, for progress. But in terms of development, because people need income, the government should figure out how to provide welfare for the British people. When I talk welfare, a means of livelihood, including accessing housing, transportation, including if you want to travel abroad. I mean, if technology is improving efficiency in terms of reducing costs, providing goods and services at low or no cost, then if the government and the industry work together progressively, increasingly there should be less and less cost to goods and services in any country. And I've been mentioning this because, you see, when I talk about these policies and these services, I'm also wanting people to actually, look to the future. You have to look at a wider scope. We need to be educated about policy, about what to expect. And I'm saying this deliberately because if you go through my videos, you will be surprised how complicated the benefit system is. Any normal government intending for people to access benefit will simplify the system, at least by providing more money to support advice within the Department for Work and Pension, which is a government department responsible for universal credit, responsible for benefit. Also, big organizations like Student Advice or other debt advisors and other charities, which are very important, they're highly professional. The government should now be paying more grants to these organizations to provide more advice service, because the system of welfare is extremely complex. Housing, employment, all these things are form of welfare. Else, the law and the courts, these are all welfare. Because you need access to justice. The government is reducing illegal aid. Actually, it is actually cutting legal aid totally in terms of very many legal issues, especially migration and other things like that, employment also, and also things like benefit. And these are some of the problems society faces. We as the British people should know. But what we know in Britain, what we learn in Britain, is what also is necessary across the globe because of globalization. I've repeated these points. I will be repeating them because not everybody will have watched my previous videos. So if you want to complement your information, watch my video, this particular one, and the other videos. And at the same time, you can go online. I mean, you are your own master or mistress. and master is normally associated with male figures, but female also can be masters. I mean, you want to be referring to yourself as mistress. You have to be an expert. We should be experts on medicine going forward, because still the government is reducing. The politicians have told us that they need to, they want small government, and that tells you that because the government is there to support us as the people of a country. The Britain, in America, Europe, and Asia, also in Africa now, government is reducing. That means that individuals like you and I should grow. As the government diminish, we should actually increase. By learning, by actually beginning to think more creatively, focusing on what is needed by way of priority. Working as hard as we can, also playing as hard as we can. Because it is work, industry, and welfare. Welfare is a holistic concept. Some people, pray. Some people play. Some people do yoga. Whatever you are doing, provide for your welfare, for your well-being, for your own treatment in terms of medicine. If possible, do the possible. Whatever help is available, still from the state, please accept. Do your best to get it. In terms of healthcare, dentistry, general practitioning, housing, some people are now preferring to rent privately. If you can, do so. But there are also complications because of small and medium housing businesses are struggling financially. And in my opinion, I think government should support them. Government in the UK and also abroad. Talking this because it's welfare. Universal credit, which I will be talking about today, is welfare. I've really spoken a lot about universal credit today. I'll be talking about how to claim it, how to calculate the payments. Because if you are actually claiming, in the process of claiming universal credit, you need to know everything, including how to calculate it. There is something called entitled to, which is actually a website. If you watch the latest video, it's a website which helps the so you take time to actually do this, the exact universal credit amount. They call it exact, but it gives you an accurate picture of it. It is the Department of Work and Pension which will actually give you the exact amount of benefit. And so, for example, for an exact amount, you will need to use the calculator like Lesion Grove's quick benefit calculator. I would say they will give exact amount, but it's not going to be exact, believe it or not, because it's up to the Department of Work and Pension to decide. It'll give you a rough estimate. So websites such as Turn to Us are entitled to. So the Turn to Us calculator only works for clients who are over 18 years. So if I'm a minor, you can use the rest of the calculator. This is some information I've been going through just to push forward the discussion about issues which really matters to us. And if you want help immediately, stop watching this video now and go online and get online advice and information, or including when you go on to respective website, especially government website, gov.uk, you're going to get other links to other organizations which give advice. The best way to get this help is actually to get advice from organizations, and the best way to get access to these organizations is online, and you initiate a process from there to connect with this organization so that they can help you either on the phone, online, by email, or by chats, web chats, or they can actually help you face to face, go into their office, whichever you prefer. But I can say to you that it's because it's cheaper, it's more affordable for this organization because they are short of staff. When an organization says they are actually short of staff, it means they are lacking funding. There are people who need jobs. They cannot access jobs because of lack of funding. Government is not giving enough funding. That is the information the member of the public, people who are watching this video should understand. If you have an MP in the United Kingdom, you have a member of parliament, and you have time, you have the opportunity, go and actually talk to your member of parliament to tell the government to start listening to organizations who are advising governments about social welfare. And if they are giving accurate information to the government should be that the purpose of welfare benefits should be to remove the British people out of poverty. That means raising the level of benefit, raising the level of national minimum or working or living wages. And these should be, in my opinion, should be increased sufficiently to remove the British people out of poverty, whether they work or not. And this needs to be done immediately. Pressure should be put on the government to raise the level of benefit. You don't need complications with benefit system, with employment system, and with housing system. Because the thing about housing, I've also discussed about housing, which is part of welfare. Housing is now a serious issue, and people who are actually renting will tell you all sorts of problems, including the level of inaffordability of rent, including cost of food, cost of energy, cost of water. These are actually household necessities, basic necessities, and also medicine. More and more, hospitals are actually requiring patients to buy medicine. Whether you have money or not, they don't care. This is supposed to change, because otherwise people are going to start dying of poverty. And I've said this over and again. And if you think I am joking, then that is okay. If you think I'm serious, then that is quite okay. Very, very okay, because this is serious. And we need to put pressure on the government. Our function as citizens of the United Kingdom, as residents of the United Kingdom, is to put political pressure, policy pressure, moral pressure on the government. How you do it is your business. I say, if you're going to put pressure on the government in any way, you have to provide compliance. You have to do it within the law. I am not going to encourage people to start breaking the law. You can demonstrate if you're actually authorized to demonstrate, that it's okay. But we need to speak. We, all of us, we need to speak. We need to come together as families, as communities, as individuals. I mean, if you work well as an individual, go online, start writing, vlogging online, writing about what you think should be done in the country to get the British people out of poverty as a priority, and also to improve the mode of education so that we center knowledge and development, we center progress around humanity. I've also said this before, and I will be repeating it over and over until we all become familiar with it, because the world is drifting away into a situation of extreme violence. We are to actually begin with family, with as individuals, as communities, to start learning cultural economy, which is actually valuing humanity over and above even nature, because humanity are part of nature. This is actually part of creating peace, and peace leads to happiness. I have said this before, I'm repeating, and we are good if we actually begin to value the things we're talking about. It is our responsibility, because you see, it's so easy to sit back and blame the government for every wrong. I can do it, you can do it, but the government is leaving. The government is shutting down. So right now it's for us to begin taking responsibility for our lives. Taking responsibility, learning things independently. There is information. There are so many information. You can choose to do entertainment, which is fine. I say play. Take time to play. Entertainment, you can listen to music, you can go to a party. Especially if you're a young person, that is okay. Even if you are a pensioner, if you want to have fun, you can go to a public place. Go to park if the weather is good. You can do these things. This is part of welfare because life is an act of balance. You balance this thing, you live well. Think positively about yourself. Think positively about your neighbors, about your families, about your friends. Begin to focus, because what you think produces who you become. You are healthy, and your health and your wealth, it depends on the way you think. If you don't think about bad things all the time, you will become sick every day. And this applies to me. This applies to everybody, in my opinion. If you think differently, leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe to this channel. That's the best way to support. Subscription is actually free. You don't pay for it. You don't put your personal details. If you have a YouTube account, your personal details is raised with Google. I think it is Google. You don't need to do anything. You just click a button and you subscribe, which is very nice. And watching video is equally good. My responsibility is to actually look after this channel and get all the help and get all the advice, get all the information to improve on things. And for me now, editing is really the most important thing. It's so important to me to do editing. And there are a lot of things I will be trying to test to check if this device is also working. I'll leave a comment below about this. Something called GoPro camera. I heard about it. I don't know, but I will try to ask a few people to tell me more about what it is. Could be a normal camera, but maybe if I get a GoPro, especially taking videos outside the house, because I've been indoors, because my program at the moment requires me more to stay, because I'm looking at notes on the laptop, and to keep the conversation in order, to keep it more systemic. Another thing I say is actually from my head, because probably based on what I know, I've been talking about this, and I'm so excited about it. Leave a comment below, let me know what you are thinking. And so there are 5 steps to claiming universal credit, and you look up you look up your standard allowance, standard amount, because there are different elements. If you get standard amount and add in another amount, you can get like housing element, child care element. These are called elements. Like I'm looking at this material, which is to help me to kind of like be more coherent and more structured, and to guide my dispensing, if you like. So you then make reductions for the income and for the capital, because it's means tested. Universal credit is means tested. Income is what you get from work, or if somebody very nice give you money every month, you have to tell the government, the DWP, the Department for Work and Pension, that you are getting regular income from charity. Charity can be from a friend, can be informal, from a friend, from a family, somebody who is nice to you and giving you maybe £500, £1,000 per month. And this, in my opinion, or in my understanding, we can check with the DWP, but it will actually affect the amount of universal credit you get, because it means tested. And also capital is your investment, including savings, what you have in your bank account. If it is £6,000, you get the full benefit without more. I mean, if there is something else to prevent you from getting it, then you can check to find out what it is. But in terms of income level, what you have £6,000, if you have £6,000, you get the full benefit, and my information, my encouragement is for people to get benefit. Because most British people actually don't get one benefit. They don't want benefit. And this is something the government, the British government, and we as a society should understand. The last thing on our mind is to claim benefit. Because to claim benefit is to tell the whole world that you are a poor person. And that is a terrible thing. Nobody wants to tell the entire world that they are actually poor. And it is actually the benefit system is an insult to the British people. Minimum wage is an insult to the British people. But you see, as the people of Britain, we are dignified. We are humble, and we understand. We always use our brains to understand the situation. If there is poverty, we know we should actually apply humility. And because you see, we have our pride. We don't want to be in poverty. We don't want to be in benefit. We don't want to do the kind of work which keeps us into poverty. Like when you get paid minimum wage, which is extremely low. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many jobs you do. You remain poor. And the government needs to help the British people to get out of poverty through work and benefit. And if there is training, the training should be quality training, not some cheap, basic training which keep you in ignorance, to say the least, and using public money, spending a lot of public money. You are sent into training which don't even develop you that much. It's not like they are not important. They're important, but they are, in my opinion, not value for money. So the government, if they want to help people who are not in work, they should actually support them to do courses which provide them qualification like diploma, degrees, or even finance them into doing research. If they are actually able to do, they should be paid benefit and also encouraged to go through school to support them. Now this is the system which is not now working. If you look at the rest of the information I gave on universal credit previously, if you're a full-time student, you don't get universal credit. That should change, because the amount of grants given now known as student loan, which loan simply means loan is not a grant. The difference between loan and grant is that grant is given and you don't really pay back. So in many ways, benefit is a form of grant because you don't pay it back. But some benefit is actually loan, which you pay it back, including universal credit. If you actually get an advance payment of benefit, you have to pay it back, which is a loan. Loan is not wanted. It's not really a good thing for the government to let poor people borrow money for education, for livelihood, or for housing, or even. And I also think if you are actually on a mortgage and you are poor, you are jobless, the government should pay your mortgage. The government cannot tell the British people to buy a house. They tell us, they are actually encouraging us to buy, giving us the right to buy. You own a government property, you have the right to buy in terms of your housing status. Now this becomes irrelevant if you lose your job, because your property is going to be taken away. You're going to lose your home, and the government should change the policy. Should pay mortgage. If they want to pay mortgage and interest, be my guest. And that needs to happen. The British people should learn to speak to the British government and do it now, especially during the election period, but particularly after the election, because after the election, because the politicians, actually the government is so busy running the country, but we have to give pressure on them that we need housing. If the government cannot pay for our mortgages, they shouldn't send us to buy houses. They should build houses free of charge, and we shouldn't pay council tax. Because if you don't work, if you are on minimum wage, you should pay tax in the first place. In the second, going forward with more wealth, with more growth in the economy and creating more wealth in the country, it is inconceivable, therefore, to be concentrating this wealth into the hands of the few. And some billionaires are so rich that they use money as toilet papers. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that figuratively. Because that's what happened. Money is a child's play. And yet, in the same society, you find individuals who are actually dying of poverty because they are on the street. And if you live in the UK, my home have been heated 24/7. So cold. I put the heater all the time to keep warm in the house. And I can't afford it. Most people cannot afford it. And whether you work, whether you don't work, you can't afford the cost of energy, the cost of food. You go to the supermarket, you cannot afford the cost of food. And the government is there to help. The government has no excuse whatsoever. And this has to change immediately. It's a bit preachy. And I'm glad I'm almost preaching. Because we are very happy people. We are the British people. We are also the British, the people of the world. We should be pleased with our lives. And we have been given the opportunity to speak. It is part of our freedom. And we should stick to that principle. Putting this principle into practice. So that we begin to understand how to run our lives. When the government is closing down, the British government is closing down, and it is not just Britain. It is closing down gradually. The sign is now there. If you study what is happening in policy, which policy also affect on the services you provide, you receive from the government or from the shops. You need to understand that the government is a form of public government, and small and medium businesses, including big business, are actually a form of private government, because they have to govern their organizations in order to run effectively. These their institutions, their economic and financial or commercial institutions, small, medium, and large. And so we need to communicate, we need to interact, we have to take the opportunity now of every challenge. The weather is against us, the climate is against us, there is flooding, there is extreme weather during summer. It's so hot that some people are actually dying of heat stroke. So the elements are stroking us. So we have to really figure out how we are going to live. And if we are to balance between development and environmental protection, we need to understand how best to do that. Because if we are also destroying nature, our natural environment, in the name of actually wasting resources, which actually, incidentally, rich people are actually the one wasting wealth. Because they have so much wealth, they waste water, they waste energy, they drive expensive cars, they live in really expensive houses, they have so many houses, which is okay because it's theirs, but there has to be, some moderation. If resources are actually finite, which means it is limited, we don't have unlimited money, we don't have unlimited resources. We need to balance between wealth, progress, development, and environmental protection. We are to do that. At least those who are actually rich, millionaires and billionaires, should contribute even willingly, the culture should change such that people with more wealth should begin to kind of like, I want to see people like Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, people like what is his name? The man who owned Virgin in the United Kingdom. Wow. I haven't really mentioned this man's name. He's a multi-billionaire. There are so many rich people, Lord Sugar, for example, who I believe probably is a multi-billionaire, millionaire. They can now provide Richard Branson, the man I was talking about, Richard Branson, individuals like this, and also musicians who are really, really rich. Most of them are young. They can now begin to form associations of the rich, the privileged, including the royal family. And these organizations should be clear. They should raise money. They should set organizations to provide housing for everyone in the United Kingdom. To make sure there is money paid into everyone's account, at least something like £100 per week, or at least £500 per month to support the government. You don't need to be taxed to achieve this. The government should actually give tax relief for organizations who help the British people to get out of poverty. People like Elton John. These are celebrities. They have money, it's their money, but the government should support them. Society, community should support them to start building organizations to provide for people who are in poverty, people who are sick, people who are pensioners. And if you are actually multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires, what do you want state pension for? That money should be donated to charity. And this charity should specifically provide housing, income, and maybe support employment, small and medium businesses to grow. If that is not feasible, then the welfare system from community welfare, we could call it welfare community. Now we call it welfare state, provided by the government, by the state. Now, if multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires of the world come together and create an organization to provide welfare community or welfare association of the multi-billionaires, they will eradicate poverty within 10 years. If there is a moral will and also a political will from the government to do this, because we are talking progress. We identify a problem in this program. We identify a problem and seek to solve it. We seek to take control of our lives as the people of the United Kingdom. But also United Kingdom, being a world leader, a global leader, we expect members of the global communities in different continents and countries to follow this line of conversation in this channel and also from elsewhere, so that we become participants, global players, playing our roles individually and collectively to solve problems of the world, including supporting research and technology. And if we fail to access to understand our cultural economy, we develop in vain. Because see, our development will be at stake, because you have thieves, you have robbers, murderers, who are actually poor, who are middle class, who are super rich, living in the same society. You have a toxic society because they have not learned peace. Peace is the product of culture, and the culture must change beginning now. And as I go through this information, which I'm already repeating, because having already gone through the same or similar material previously in the other videos, now I can actually provide some form of analysis in the same way at the same time It's actually going through the process, the information to kind of like deal with what we may or may not need immediately, or in the short, medium, and long term. So thank you so much. If you have been watching up to now, consider yourself a champion and share with family and friends. You can share with strangers also if you can. Because I want this video to reach as many people as possible, so that I want to hear feedback. That will really be helpful, and it's also a sign that you are actually serious about your life to take responsibility. Because my mission is to actually encourage every single individual, even if you are 5 years or 10 years and your parents allow you to watch a content like this, watch it and understand what I'm talking about. If you are a child, if you are a youth, if you are an adult, if you are an elderly, that's not what I'm talking about. The key message here is actually everybody is responsible for their life, and it's a good thing because it empowers you. And in the context, in the situation where you are actually not able, like when you are sick, you need a medical doctor. And you seem not to get medical support. The best thing is actually to start a small organization. It doesn't matter, a drinking group. If you like going to public places to drink in bars with family and friends, start a small group to talk about the problem. How you should plan to go and contact your member of parliament or your councillor, local councillor. These people need to work with us, member of the community, and also talk to your family. If you're the only one in your home, talk to yourself, write things down, read, and share with family and friends. Your cousin, your in-laws. Begin to form organizations, even if it's 2 or 3 member organization. If needed, register it with the Charity Commission in the United Kingdom, England, and Wales. You can register it with the Charity Commission, Company House. Information on gov.uk is online, and you can also ask me if you're interested in starting an organization, a discussion group to talk about welfare, to talk about the future of our livelihood, our lives, of our country, our continent in Europe, our continent in Africa, in the rest of the world. We are a global community. Let us broaden our horizons. Let us broaden our minds. We can talk about immigrants. You can talk about, if you are white, you can talk about black people being the cause of your problem. I believe black people are creating a lot of problems in the United Kingdom, in white country. But we are humans. We are probably black and white. We are responsible for things which happens to us. We are the create problem for ourselves, or create problem for other people. Other people create a problem for us, black or white. Whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Africa, America, Asia. These are the main continents of the world. So we are all in this together as a human community, as a global community. And let us see the light and begin to celebrate our lives. And this is an opportunity to start a conversation, a sensible conversation. Nothing is cheap, and do not ignore anything. You shouldn't be obsessed with everything. Do take a baby step. You get up in the morning, brush, shower, even if for 2 seconds. It's your life. Do, even if you only make haste, drink a glass of water. Take a walk. There are so many parks in London. Even if it is cold, just tell the weather off. Say, it is rain or shine, I'm going to walk. This is something I should be doing every morning. It's easy to talk about it. It's not so easy to do. You see, we have to provide our own welfare without money. We are British, or we are actually residents of Britain, people who live in the United Kingdom, or people who live in the world as citizens of the world. We are authorized to breathe, to drink, and to do what we think is good for us. And so we are so grateful for this opportunity. And as always, support this channel. And if I am to continue to look at universal credit, we have looked at income, we have looked at capital. When we are looking at universal credit, how much the amount you will be able to get. And we can also look at benefit cap. You check out whether benefit cap applies to you or not. This is something you look at. Benefit cap is the limit of benefit the government allows you to get, above which you no longer get benefit. If you pay maybe £5,000 in housing benefit, in housing costs, probably you won't get all of it. And these are also developments which the government has actually put forward. Benefit cap, you don't really get indefinitely. People used to get, you get into a property, you negotiate with the government, they pay your rent. Not anymore. There are benefit cap, especially they are targeting housing, but also council tax. They are not paying the full council tax in terms of benefit cap. So benefit council tax is not part of universal credit, but it's the general information about benefit cap. Is an example of benefit cap because there's something called you pay council tax, which is a form of liability, financial liability on somebody who actually live in a house in the United Kingdom. There's this tax, and if you are low income, the government give you support, council tax support. And this support is actually, they don't pay the full benefit. It's a change they have actually made in order to reduce the amount of benefit people get. So the government attitude is to reduce benefit. And things like benefit cap is evident that the government attitude and the direction of travel to reduce and not the increased capital benefit. That is what the conservative government have done. That's what they also said they are going to do. They're going to reduce benefit. Their argument, political argument, in my opinion, is that they want to encourage people to get into work, but they are also not increasing the level of benefit or minimum wage. They are not improving the condition of work, including restricting or controlling how zero-hour contract is actually implemented, including employment rights, which is actually now being reduced for employees in favor of employers, which is actually right for the employers, which is wrong for the employee, because where one gets, the other loses. So the government attitude in terms of employment is actually in favor of employers other than employees, in which case if you don't support employees at policy and at law, how can you justify your political rhetoric, which I think it is rhetoric, that you want to encourage people to work? I think this is really a big mistake the Conservative Party have done, and the New Labour, if the Labour Party come into power, or if they don't, if they remain something called the New Labour, they will be behaving like people who do not care about people who do not have money, which is a corrupt mindset for a human being to value humanity, because if you have money, then you are valued. If you are an employer, you are valued more than an employee, because an employer has more money than an employee. If you are a rich person, you are valued more than somebody who is not rich. That is actually an adulteration of humanity. And so we need also to think about money, but think outside money also. Start thinking about people. Let's be good people. thinking about people because they are people, not because they have money or not. That is a form of corruption which is very cultural, which is very moral corruption, which is very morally corrupt. So we are talking about the benefit cap in relation to universal credit. And then we take away any sanctions or other reductions, because benefit sanction is if we do something wrong. You go on to claiming benefit, you actually sign an agreement. You sign an agreement to keep. You sign a contract with the Department of Work and Pension. You should keep. For example, you have to look for work. You have to be available for work. Also, you see, you have to do any activity you are asked to do, like a work related, the work program, government program, mandatory. And you need to do those. You have to meet those obligations, and it's getting tougher and tougher. The condition of benefit is getting tougher, and the political attitude is expressed in policy to discourage the British people from claiming benefit. And that's my opinion. Because why you make it almost impossible, and the level of benefit is actually worthless. People need it because they are desperate. It is a humiliation to go and get benefit because the level is so low. And it is actually the industry of benefit is an abuse. Everybody who is on benefit is actually despised in the United Kingdom. I mean, if you want people to insult you, tell them you're in benefit. Even the dogs will bark at you when you're going past. The cat will meow at you if you're going past. Even the foxes will make noises. Because you are actually at the bottom of the class infrastructure. It's a public announcement that you are a worthless person. And this actually should change. It's actually it's evidence of a government abuse of poor people. You see, benefit is actually a form of abuse. It should be made illegal. The benefit culture should be made illegal because it's a system by which the government abused the British people. Also the minimum wage. Also giving power, almost absolute power to employers to abuse workers. You can work for 2 years without any right of unfair dismissal. And that's what the government has allowed to happen in the country. So the government has turned into a monster, also known as an abuser of poor people. It is wrong, and it has to stop. And that is what benefit cap is. Benefit sanction is a punishment. Sanction simply means your benefit will be reduced or cut. You reduce the benefit of somebody who is actually at the verge of destitution. Somebody so poor, somebody so abused, somebody so humiliated in a country which provides welfare benefits. Everybody mock at benefit. It's like you're walking naked on the street. Everybody despises you. Even somebody who shouldn't despise it will despise. It doesn't matter who you are, even if you are a professional. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have made in a country where government do not respect human integrity. Using wealth as a weapon of abuse. It's economic abuse. A lot of people who are actually multimillionaires are throwing money into the bin. They burn money. They destroy wealth. And yet, there are people in Britain who are actually living worse than people in the third world. How can the government, a government which is not really on drugs, how can the government which is on drugs do that? That is what benefit sanction is. Benefit sanction should be removed. Immediately, is enough offense to provide benefit the way it is provided now. It is even more cruel benefit sanction, bedroom tax. All these are actually things I will be talking about. Bedroom tax is so wrong. People are really suffering because of an evil government, and I have no reservation to really declare this because the evidence is there, and the government is shameless. The government, the UK government, is without shame. The number one country. You see, if you want to talk about a government, a country, you talk about the United Kingdom. And really, you cheapen yourself. You are a country which has really stooped so low as to abuse poor people. In your country, poverty should not be mentioned in Britain. Poverty should not be mentioned in Europe, in America, and in Asia, at least in Asia in some part, because there are part of Asia which is still developing. And this is something we need to really take seriously. And that's what benefit sanction does. And benefit reductions is for, you talk about reduction, they'll probably talk about bedroom tax also. Because if if you have a child living with you and your child is an adult, they are not working. They're on benefit, which is the level is actually low, and they are being, children do not want to go to claim benefit. There are people who are not claiming benefit because of the humiliation, the embarrassment, the abuse, the nastiness. Not because of the people working at the DWP, they are okay. The nastiness of the politics surrounding, it's the politician, the political nastiness surrounding the benefit economy. It is such as to portray the evil that British politics and government has become. And this is happening across the globe. It's not just in Britain. Government is becoming a monster to its citizens. In Africa, as a continent, government in Africa, there are some of the worst, the most evil dictators actually who operate in Africa. If you go to slums in Africa, you will be shocked the level of poverty in slums. And people live worse. I mean, you would rather be an animal in Africa than a poor person living in a slum. The evil that you see in these slums is unspeakable. Why is this happening? If we are to talk of politics, why is this happening? It has to stop now. This is the 21st century. We cannot talk. There are multimillionaires and billionaires in Africa. Nobody in Africa should be poor. They should get out of poverty. In Europe, especially in Europe and America, and in many countries in Asia, in Russia, Ukraine, China, North Korea, something is wrong with the government. Something is terribly broken in our politics in the United Kingdom. United Kingdom is a case study of human wrong politically. And when I talk about society, talk about Britain, I'm talking about politics and politicians. I don't know what kind of wild animals this breed of people are, because you are responsible with so much power. You are supposed to use the power to bring peace. You're supposed to use power to eradicate poverty from the United Kingdom. And this has to happen. Let people listen or they don't listen. I'm good to go. So we have sanction, we have reduction. We have something called, when you're getting benefit, there's something called non-dependent deduction, which means a child to a parent who doesn't work from 16 years old, who doesn't get child benefit from 16 years, 17 years, 16 years, 17 years, because they don't go to school. They're not in full-time education in the definitive form of full-time education, which I have described in the other videos. These are some of the criteria eligibility for the benefit. And when you have a child living with you, they're called adults, but they are non-dependent. The non-dependency means that they no longer are children, they are adults who are not sick, who are not disabled. And if they were sick, if they were disabled, they would be described as dependent. But they are not dependent because they are normal children, they are 18 years. Normally they are 18, but also 16 and 17 years old if they are not in full-time education or government-funded training. This is some of the information when you talk of reduction. So your benefit as a parent is going to be reduced by, I think, I don't know, 14%. I don't know. I will have to check. These are some of the things we need to check. The percentages are there. This is empowering people who are already poor. The benefit economy is already, the amount of benefit given is already small. And still, you are not paid the full country tax reduction. You are given a benefit cap. You are given reductions and sanctions for things which are trivial. If you're drunk, if you're sick, you can be actually sanctioned. If you cannot provide benefit for profit for the evidence from the doctor in time, the DWP will sanction your benefit. And the system is so chaotic, is so wrong that the government should just stop. I mean, I don't know what members of parliament at Westminster, I don't know what kind of drinks they drink in terms of alcohol, or even if they drink water or milk. I don't know what is they put in there, because politics has taken over sanity in Westminster. I watch the television all the time. I watch Prime Minister's Question Time. It is appalling. It is disgraceful. Partisan politics is so toxic that MPs are some of the most stupid people on the earth, and yet we are dealing with some of the cleverest people, which is a point of contradiction. We are dealing with elite of our society at Westminster. Our MPs are called honorable and right honorable members. Oh my God, these people are so clever. They are so clever. And how can you be so stupid if you are clever? If you are so clever? And that is actually a kind of toxicity produced by partisan politics. People behave at Westminster in Parliament like 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds. Zabu politics, so they say. I don't know. They know the truth, but no one tells the truth at Westminster because they want to do politics. It is politics over people. This has to stop. The culture of Westminster has to stop, and this transforming of cultural, political culture in Westminster should be replicated across the globe. Because if you go to Africa and now see the kind of politics being played in Africa and the rest of Europe and globally, you will be shocked how nasty, how worthless politics has become. And because they have so much power, and they behave like people on drugs, like psychopaths, political psychopaths. You see, like they have taken drugs not as political partisan dispensing. This has to really stop at the cultural level. There should need to be a re-educating of politicians. And that's why there is problem. A simple decision to be made, which are straightforward, is politicized, and it becomes an Achilles heel. Things like Brexit. Even handling COVID-19. Because you consider politics first. It's like, you see, the Westminster and the politics in Britain and across the globe is like a community who are actually demon possessed. They like wizards and witches on steroids, and they are relentless. They are so hypnotized that they don't listen to anyone. That's why we have nonsense such as reduction and sanctions should be removed today. Bedroom tax should go. You see? And the issue of housing should really change. And the British people have to really understand this problem. And if they sit there and say nothing, it is their life, it's our life. I live in Britain, I'm actually African. So it concerns me what happens in Europe, what happens in America, because what happens in America affects what happens in Europe and Britain and Africa. And this should provide a form of attitude, outlook to us. And we will be actually stopping this. We can actually look at the changes, the changes each month. Universal credit payment can change each month if you earn a different amount or if your circumstances changes. We have talked about that before. Because if you are claiming universal credit, this is the last point I'm going to make. Claiming universal credit, if you are actually working part-time or flexible shifts, and maybe you work different jobs, 2 or 3 or 4 jobs, you earn maybe 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 pounds per month. This month, if you earn maybe 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, your benefit may stop altogether because you have more money than you need. And then the following month, you may only be earning 1,000 pounds, which means your benefit should come back. So this, you have to watch out for this. These are the type of complexity given by policy. And I know laws and policies are complex, but the company should finance advisors. They should invest in advisory system to support clients more about benefit. Otherwise, people cannot maintain benefit. There is no sustainability because of the complexity in policy. The system is so complex, and in my opinion, it's unnecessary. We're going to stop here. Thank you for watching this video. We are going to continue with this format of discussion as long as possible. Around April going forward, I will be introducing other aspects of YouTubing or the content. I will be adding more, mixing, because I've been talking about one thing for a year, and I will be changing. I will not changing, but I will be continuing to talk about the cost of living crisis, because this is the cost of living crisis program. And my YouTube is not about the cost of living crisis, but I have been talking about it for a year. So going forward towards maybe May and June, I will be introducing other topics. I will have to find out what topics. I will be walking in the park and explaining how the park looks like, the way of life in London, because that's where I live. I will be interviewing individuals on families on the cost of living issues, talking to people, have family and friends. I may be arranging to go and interview them, and I will be looking forward to doing that. And also, hopefully, I will get some facilities to help me with editing, and also as I go along, learn new things to do new things, better things, hopefully. And subscribe to this channel if you watch this far. You've done brilliantly, and this channel is doing amazingly. We need more people, the more the merrier. And I'm so grateful for today's content. Thank you. See you in the next one. Bye bye.